Hi, welcome to Girls Talk. I'm your host, Harjeet Dhillon. Today we have an exciting episode. We have two guests, not one, but two, Dorothy Guerra and Sandra Dowek. And they both are very much experts in the female, industry. Sandra Dowek, she is a children's yoga instructor and a parenting solutions practitioner. It's quite a mouthful. And Dorothy owns a prenatal yoga studio. In addition to that, she's a doula. And I kind of learned what a doula is myself, but I'm going to be talking to Dorothy about that. And on top of all that, Dorothy is also the author of this amazing book. It's called The Yoga Birth Method, which has kindly gifted me a copy. So I'm super excited to read that and learn more about that. But before I take up more of your time, I want to go over to my lovely guests, welcome them, and learn more about them. Hi, Dorothy and Sandra.
Hello. Hi.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a crazy afternoon, I guess. But now that we're here, let's go to Dorothy first, if that's okay. So tell us a bit more about what you do. If you could expand on, well, I mentioned 3 things that you do. If you could expand a little on those and add anything else that I missed.
Well, I own a prenatal yoga studio in Streetsville, and I basically work with pregnant women, prenatal, postnatal, teaching yoga. I'm also a doula, obviously, so I've written the book based on incorporating yoga into birth. So I certify teachers through North America, Europe, and now recently I am working towards my placenta encapsulation, so helping women eat their placenta after birth, which I'm now adding to the roster of yoga birthing.
Oh, wow. And is this something that you learned yourself, or is something that was taught to you too?
It's a little bit of both. So the placenta encapsulation, you obviously have to take blood courses and things like that. But the yoga birth method is something that I created. It is, I've been teaching yoga for about 20 years. Mm-hmm. I've had 3 studios. So when I started to get involved with pregnancy, it's just something that clicked through yoga philosophy, incorporating these postures and the mentality of yoga through birth.
Okay, and you, I don't know if you have children of your own or not, but I'm curious to know, when you were younger, is this something that you always thought about, whether it was yoga? So you had a different...
No, I was a stockbroker.
Okay.
Yeah, so I worked in the stock brokerage industry till I was about 29, and I actually took a yoga class in order to deal with my own stress, and it just connected instantly, and I ended up leaving my job and opening up a studio in Mississauga.
Okay, that's amazing. And now this is, I guess, more fitting to what you would want to do than being a stockbroker.
Absolutely, it's been a long
fields,
time
right?
now, yeah. No, it's been a long time. So it's this is definitely my career now.
And out of the 3, the author, I guess, is not something that's ongoing all the time, but being the owner of a prenatal yoga studio, and also being the doula. The doula,
I get busy when I've got clients, right? So and I kind of schedule when I take clients as far as what my year's going to look like, because obviously you're on call. And then, but the book is a big part of my time, because when you're an author in this world, it's like, unless you get a lucky break, every day is about sitting and marketing and marketing and marketing and marketing, right? It's a full-time job to get that book out across the world. And the book's been published in 5 languages around the world.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And it's going to be really helpful, because, I haven't done yoga myself, but I know in this day and age with the things that are going on in this world, a lot of people talk about meditation, and yoga is meditation and exercise. That's how I see it. It's a combination of both. 2 important things that we need to factor into our lives. So apart from that, I think that you have 3 very rewarding careers, but what is the most rewarding about your careers? Or
I think the whole rewarding factor for me is that I'm involved in bringing life into this world. I'm part of a journey for women that is one of the most important times of their lives, when they're having a child. And then, and as you might know, me and Sandra are going to Africa together. So this is something that I did when I was studying to be a midwife. And I started to do clinical work out in Africa. It was the first time I went out there, and it was as a child, it was something I've always wanted to do. That, it's not something I can do on a regular basis or that I do full time, but that to me, going out and working with maternity care in a rural village and working with children that have basically nothing, that is probably more rewarding than anything I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel the rewards, like, you know, how you would feel when you're making an impact on children. And I think children are so precious. I'm such a big fan of, you know, making sure children are brought into the right environment. And so I'm really a fan of what you do. And I do actually want to open up to you more about being a doula, because I just learned about that. But before I do, I wanted to actually talk to Sandra too, as well, because your careers fit together so perfectly well, which is probably why you collaborating or you connected to do the project, which I'm going to go into more detail too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Sandra, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. So as you mentioned, I am a parenting solutions practitioner, and what that looks like is I help parents live a less stressful life by working inside families' homes with any and all behavioral issues that they may be seeing within their child. I'm also a children's yoga instructor, and what that looks like is I help children understand their emotions, how to regulate their emotions, and how to be mindful. And what I've actually done is I took my background in behavioral development. So my background is behavioral development. I'm also an ABA therapist, so applied behavior analysis. And I took a little bit of all my backgrounds, and a few years ago, I became quite inspired about getting to know a little bit more about yoga, and took my yoga courses. I became a yoga instructor and decided that I was going to come up with a very unique yoga program. It combines my background in behavioral development and the yoga theory together to help children in so many different components. And what I really love is I get them at a really young age. So I get them to come in, I teach them all about how to connect their breath to their bodies and what exactly does it mean when they're breathing a certain way, and to help them understand a little bit more about their emotions, because when you ask a child about their emotions, they can't really tell you a lot about it. And they know what angry looks like, they know what sad looks like, they know what happy looks like. But if you ask a child if it's okay to be angry or if it's okay to be frustrated, the typical answer that I receive is no. When in reality, yes, it is okay to be angry, it is okay to be frustrated. So what I do is I teach them different techniques through my yoga class, and I help them understand that there's ways that we can present ourselves, and there's ways that we can act when we do become angry and we do become frustrated. So it works really well. I start them really young. I have a class for little ones, and then I have a class that caters to children 8 and up. And then I also do a parent and child class, and that's a great one because not only do I get the opportunity to work with the child, but I get the opportunity to work with the parent as well, so they can see a little bit about what I'm teaching their child. So it goes hand in hand. So.
Yeah, I think that's really quite fascinating, having the parent present while their child is being taught yoga, because once they get to see it themselves too, they can adopt those techniques themselves as a parent, because it doesn't just end in the studio, it has to go home and it has to continue to be effective.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing. With anything. Like, I mean, if we go to the prenatal yoga studio and you learn those birthing techniques, unless you take those into the ward when you're delivering, they have to go outside. So is that also the program that you have with the parent and child? Is that also part of the parenting solutions?
So no, so typically the parenting solutions is a different component. That's one part of what I do. The parenting solutions is I help families inside their home. So basically what that would look like is I go in, I sit down with the family, talk about any and all concerns that they are seeing within their family, their children themselves, and then I go back and I do an observation. And then I go back and I provide the family with solutions to what I saw and put the plan in action for them to help them live a less stressful life.
So both of them are quite impactful, and
they are.
Yeah, I mean, both of
rewarding.
you are focusing on parenting, motherhood, and children, which is, you know, amazing stuff, you know. There's one thing, my show is called Girls Talk, which we're both familiar with, and us three being girls, it's not always easy. Sometimes it can be, but there's sometimes obstacles that we face being a girl. In your career, maybe not so much, but do you find that you faced any obstacles to get where you are, whether it was because you're a girl or whether it was just in general?
I don't know if I would say it was because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
I think that when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to face a lot of obstacles, whether you're female or you're male. And for me, yes, I did go through a lot of obstacles. I have 4 children of my own, and it was challenging, and I had to figure things out on my own. So that was definitely a big obstacle to go through. When you're an entrepreneur, I think it can be sometimes quite difficult to receive the support from some family members and from some friends, because the encouragement is not the same. So I think that's where yoga really plays a big part in me, is I'm constantly using my affirmations within myself, and I'm constantly using my mantras, and it's just, I can do this, and I got this, and continue to stay positive. And anytime I have a negative thought come into my head, I always replace that with a positive thought. And I try to wean out a lot of the negativity in my life. And I think no matter what happens as an entrepreneur, you really have to just stay focused and continue to stay positive, and good things will happen. So
I really like that, and I know that Dorothy's about the same too, which is why you connected, and you're so similar mindsets. The career paths are so similar but so different at the same time. And you had already mentioned that you're working on the orphanages in Africa, and there's a lot going on with that, which we are going to cover more after the break. But before we do go to break, I do want to touch upon that. Dorothy, if you could just tell us a little bit about what the two of you are going to be working on.
Okay, so where I go out to Africa is Kenya, and this will be my 3rd trip back there. And there is a small little orphanage. It's sort of makeshift orphanage in a very remote village. It's not like a legitimate school. In this village, kids don't really have access to a school, so they've come from all over the village. A lot of their parents have died from HIV. It's almost like where they say it takes a village to raise a child. That's sort of what happens here. Kids just sort of get dispersed amongst the village. And this family has an organization in which they bring people in, and they have teachers, and they have a makeshift school in the backyard. So there's about 200 kids there. The first time that I went, it was an eye-opener, and, navigating the whole thing and working with the kids and bringing donations and birth kits and whatnot. The second time I went, I had a little bit more of a grip over what I was doing there. I was able to put a water well in, and I knew what I was raising money for. One of the big projects that I do there is I work with the medical clinic. It's a very remote clinic. It is nothing like any hospital that we would, it's a shack. And women get out there to, if they can make it, to birth their babies, but most women don't do that. Most women just birth at home, basically on the ground. Part of my mission work is to bring awareness to the mortality rates of women that don't have access to clean, safe birth places. And so I partner with a company called Aziz, and we basically take a kit. It's an actual envelope that has a birth sheet, an umbilical cord clamper, soap, and sterile gloves, so that you can reduce the risk of infection by birthing at home, which is one of the leading causes why 1 in 5 women will die in these rural villages, not just in Africa, but in any third world country. It's hemorrhage and infection. So that's my big mission out there. When Sandra asked to join me this time out there, I think a big part of her work is working with the children that are in the school, and of course coming into the medical clinics, assuming she wants to come and watch a birth, and right. So I'm really excited, and having her join me and get her hands into this, and it's a life-changing thing because it's not a vacation, it's not luxury. You know, we aren't going to a beach, we aren't going to a restaurant at night, we aren't going to, you know, cheers with a glass of wine. You know, we're basically going somewhere that we are knee-deep in grassroots of bare bones nothing.
And you're making a difference, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, we try to make a difference. Right?
Well, I don't think you would be making anything short of a positive difference with what you're doing.
Yes. You know what we do more so, because I can't change the mortality rates there. I can't change HIV. I can't change these children, you know, and the circumstances that they live in. But one thing I can tell you is that the little bit that you do for them every day, and you just see the biggest smile, and there's no reservation, and there's no ego, and there's nothing like children are raised with here. There's no entitlement. There's, you know, it's just these little children that if you give them a piece of soap, or you just basically pat them on the back and sing along with them in their African song, even though you don't know what you're doing, the joy that you give them is beyond anything that, you know, I've ever witnessed in my life. And the one thing that I do know is that they're very discouraged from going to school because they don't have access. They don't, you know, nothing is easy for them. So when you come in, or when I come in, or we both will go, and, you know, we bring in a seamstress and we give them new uniforms, and we raise enough money to give them new shoes. It gives them the incentive to walk that extra hour to want to go to school. Most of them don't go because they're sick. It's too far. And after grade 8, the government doesn't fund these kids to go to high school. So they know they don't have the money to go any further, so they just give up, right? So, you know, you can't raise these amazing children with possibilities for the future because they're not given the opportunity to be educated in their own country.
So yeah, there's a lot that you're going to be doing and supporting, and I'm so grateful for that, as I'm sure like all the people in Africa are super grateful for that. I am going to talk more about those initiatives that you have planned, most likely with Sandra right after the break, and I'm looking forward to learning more and talking in depth about that. Thank you both for being here, but don't go anywhere, and you guys stay tuned because we are going to be back right after this short break.
Islamic Circle of North America, Canada presents Carry the Light Annual Convention 2018 on October 6th and 7th at the International Center, Mississauga. The event is aimed to inspire Muslims to implement the true spirit of Islam in their lives. This year's speakers are going to talk about Canadian Muslims sharing Islam and serving humanity. Don't miss this opportunity to meet with world-renowned speakers at one place. For sponsorship, Grand Bazaar and tickets, please visit carrythelight.ca.
जिंदगी की दौड़ में आगे रहने के लिए आप कितनी मेहनत करते हैं और वक्त है जो हाथ नहीं आता, इसीलिए अब पेश है हबीब झटपट। जी हाँ, फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम हबीब पेश करता है रेडी टू कुक रेसिपी मसाला मिक्स। इसमें है सारे इंग्रेडिएंट्स, यानी प्याज, टमाटर, लहसुन, अदरक काटने की झंझट से छुटकारा और लज्जत से भरपूर खानों का मजा बगैर किसी मेहनत के, वो भी झटपट। नो MSG एडेड, ग्लूटेन फ्री, यानी बचत, लज्जत और सेहत साथ साथ विद हबीब झटपट। This is the world of internet. You have everything on your computer and mobile screen. If you wish to promote your business through internet, especially to perfect target market, then you have just one reliable name, NJ Marketing, offering various marketing solutions like social media marketing, telemarketing, email marketing, search engine optimization, graphic designing, web designing and development, and mobile application development. So call now at 647-824-1485 or email at njmarketing15@gmail.com or log on to njmarketing.ca.
ट्रेंडी कूल है के गहने गोल्ड हाउस, गोल्ड ज्वेलरी का है बेस्ट प्लेस गोल्ड हाउस। प्योरिटी क्वालिटी भरोसे का ये नाम गोल्ड हाउस ज्वेलर्स।
Now open biggest store of 22 and 24 karat gold jewelry in Malton. Gold House Jewelers.
New collection just arrived from Dubai, Pakistan and India. Call Shahid or Junaid.
905-672-0786.
Purity is guaranteed.
Gold House Jewelers.
Hi, welcome back to Girls Talk. As I told you before the break, I'm your host Harjeet Dhillon. I had two wonderful guests today, Dorothy Guerra and Sandra Dowek. I always have difficulty pronouncing the surnames. Unfortunately, Dorothy had to leave, but I do still have the lovely Sandra here with me, who is going to be talking more in depth about their mission in Africa to support the orphanages. So thanks, Sandra, for filling in and telling us more in depth about what you're going to be doing in Africa. Let's start with how you got involved in the project.
Sure, absolutely. So I actually saw a video that Dorothy had posted, and she was talking a lot about her mission to Africa, the ones that she has gone on previously and her upcoming one as well. And just watching her video, I became very intrigued and wanted to help out, as well as my husband. He has done a lot of missions in different places, and I've always been inspired and hearing all the feedback that I've heard from him and how it will change you as a person and how it's, was the best thing that he ever did. And when my boys were younger, I've always wanted to do something like this. I just never had the opportunity to do so. So the time was right. Everything aligned for me. And, I saw this video and I thought, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to take what I do on a daily basis with the children here to somewhere else where perhaps they just do not have the ability to have somebody like myself to work with them in the way that I can work with them. So I contacted Dorothy immediately and I said, you know what, without hesitation, didn't even ask too many questions. I just said, I don't care what it looks like. I'm going. And she said, are you sure? And let's meet for coffee. And we went over everything. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. When she started explaining everything to me and, what it would look like, what our sleeping conditions would look like, how our daily living would look like, I had some butterflies in my stomach and I was becoming quite nervous, but I thought, you know what? This is where yoga comes in. I can do this. For 3 weeks of my life, really, I can totally do it. And I am, floored. I am so over the moon and I think about it every single day. And don't get me wrong, I still have those negative thoughts that will come in, and I've had people confront me and say, are you sure you're going to be okay? Are you sure this is something you really want to do? Dorothy had mentioned that it's not a luxury vacation by no means, and I know that with some organized trips with churches and whatnot is they have a group of people going. Mm-hmm. And, you go out and you do the work during the day, and then there are some nicer meals at nighttime, and you are staying in a different facility where there are Western toilets, and you do have access to food, and we will not have that. So, I guess if you're going to go big, go for it. Go big or go home. So I've sort of, said, you know what, I understand, some of my family's concern. I understand, people are nervous a little bit for me and the unexpected, but this is something that I want to do. This is something that I'm passionate about, and I'm going for it. I'm 2 feet in, so yeah.
Yeah, I like that the bugs and everything, like the sleeping conditions. I'm a big sleeper.
Yeah,
and,
it was interesting because during my conversation with Dorothy, and she said, I'm going to tell you that to make sure you cover yourself with a net. It won't protect you from the cockroaches, but it'll protect you from the mosquitoes. And I'm like, how big are these cockroaches? And you know what, though? It is what it is. I'm psyching myself up, and I'm going to go for it, so yeah.
I've been to a couple countries that do have cockroaches because we're fortunate enough not to get cockroaches here in Canada.
Yes.
It's not such a warm climate to get cockroaches, but they're like really big, and I heard they live for 9 days without their head.
Without the head? So when I get them, make sure I get the whole body.
To get rid of, and I'm not going to say get rid of them with your shoe or anything. It's up to you how you deal with it.
Yeah.
But just be prepared because they usually show up in damp environments.
I've heard. Yes.
So the washroom, I've been in a situation where I was in a washroom, I saw one and I held it and I wouldn't go until that thing was gone and
Okay.
taken care of.
Well,
And
I guess the benefit is to this is that we're not going to have a washroom.
it's a great advantage.
Yeah.
But it sounds so interesting, and for somebody who hasn't been in this environment before,
Yes.
a lot of us haven't been exposed to that. Even if we were to go camping in Canada, say it's the facilities are more luxurious. We do have access to a lot more things, and it's a lot easier to do something like that in Canada than to do it in Africa, where everything's so limited. It would be exciting to see your journey along the way. So is there any way we could follow with a blog or a vlog?
So I do have a Facebook page that I have made, and it's my journey to working with children in rural Kenya. If you Google that, actually not Google it, if you look on Facebook, you should be able to find it, or perhaps maybe you can post the link.
Well, definitely, because I will be posting a little heads up about the show when the show comes on. I will be giving a reference to that.
So I will be videotaping
Okay.
my whole experience there, and it's going to be how I'm feeling in every moment. And I know there's going to be lots of tears. I know it's going to be something that I'm going to have to adapt to seeing, because I have a very big heart when it comes to children. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. And I've been working with children for over 21 years, and I've seen a lot. And I know this is absolutely not even comparable to what I'm about to witness and what I'm about to see. Regardless if it's mortality or a child being really ill, or just even the way they're living is going to touch my heart very deeply. And if I can just go there and put a smile on their faces, then I've done good.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I've seen people that do go out and support third world countries in different ways by giving back to them. And you do see these children have so little, but they appreciate so much.
Entitlement, like Dorothy had mentioned before she had to leave, is entitlement. And it's interesting that she brings that up, because I was actually speaking about that with a family today. As mentioned, I work in a lot of families' homes, helping them with their children. And entitlement is an issue right now with a lot of children, preteens, teenagers, even adults. Entitlement is something that we are dealing with. And these children in Africa don't even remotely understand what entitlement looks like. The appreciation is just what makes them so pure, and something that I'm really excited to see.
And that on its own, I think, goes a long way, because you know that these children aren't taught that. So at least they're surrounded by love. And I think that's one of the reasons why they are the way they are, because the entitlement, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to nail it on that, but it really is massive when you come from a first world country where you have access to a lot. In certain situations, you kind of get that sense of entitlement, and you kind of want more, and you forget where you came from and to appreciate what you do have.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, if you're somebody working for something really hard, then yeah, you should go after what you want, and you should fulfill your dreams, and we can do that here. But their dream is to wake up in the morning, right? And, to smile and to enjoy the day. And it's definitely a lot different for them.
Unfortunately, it's not something that just happens in Africa. It happens in a lot of third world countries. After you have been to Africa, are you going to stay focused on this mission with Dorothy, or do you think you're going to try and find somewhere else to focus your efforts and meet different people in different places?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Okay. I want to see how I feel about this one. I think that's number one.
Yeah.
You know, but I become attached to children pretty easily. So I'm probably going to want to go back to visit them as often as I can, hoping that they are the same children there that I'm working with. You know, probably part of me is going to want to sneak them in my backpack and bring them home. But yeah, like I said, I am somewhat, you know, a creature of a habit, and I do like to, you know, stick with the same children. So if I were to have to choose one and answer that question, I don't know 100%, but chances are if Dorothy has gone, you know, so many, you know, the 3 times that she's gone, then chances are I will be doing the exact same thing. So
You get to build a bond. And what you're doing, I mean, you maybe won't think this, but I'm very inspired, and Mother Teresa is one of my massive inspirational figures. What she did, I think, was amazing. Not everybody has positive things to say about her, but whatever she's done for children, and she managed to focus on the same children. So she had that commitment and that loyalty and that bond with the same children. She managed to make such a difference and an impact that she still talked about today, you know. But because I know we're short for time, I just want to actually talk about this bracelet that I'm wearing, and you're wearing too. So I actually purchased one of these from you for a reason. Not just because it's pretty, because it is very pretty.
It's gorgeous.
But I did purchase it for a reason.
Thank you very much.
So if you could tell me, remind me, and share with the viewers what this reason is, that would be great.
Sure. So I had these bracelets made by a company called Glam Jewels, and it was designed specifically for my journey. And the idea is that for each bracelet I sell and that people purchase, I will be making a care package for a child. So let's say that for example, your bracelet that you purchased, which looks absolutely gorgeous on you, I'm going to be making a child a care package. And inside the care package, I will put in toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, different amenities, different things that the child can use, whether it's a soccer ball. I'm going to fill it up. Obviously, however much I can put in it, as much as I'm able to bring over. And then as well as I'm going to put a note from you inside the bag and your picture. So I'm going to personally deliver that care package to that child for you. And when they open it, they're going to find everything in it that you gave them, as well as the little note of inspiration that you gave them, and your photo. And let me tell you, they are going to hold on to that photo like it is gold, because they don't have access to see people like us every single day, you know? So it's going to become their wallpaper, if you will, and their note is going to be cherished, and they're probably not going to let the picture, the note, and their care package go. So I'm very excited to do that. My goal is to sell 200 bracelets because there are 200 orphan children that I'm going to be working with. That's just in the orphanage. You know, if I can sell more and I can bring it out and we can deliver packages in the village, and that is also wonderful. As well as the funds, more funds that are raised, I'm going to be helping Dorothy with the birthing kits that she's also making, and we'll be helping her distribute them in the village as well. So yeah, really paying it forward, and yeah, all proceeds go to our mission to help these children and these mothers and these babies as well. So very, very exciting.
That's what I love. I mean, I paid 45 Canadian dollars to have my wrist look very pretty and elegant, and have people say, wow, your bracelet's so pretty, but there's a story behind my bracelet. It's not just a regular bracelet. While I'm wearing this bracelet, I just made a child small in Africa, and I potentially helped a woman not get sick after birthing, or help her along the way while she's in the process of carrying a child and birthing a child. So it's more than just a bracelet, and to me that can like literally bring tears to my eyes to think about it. I'm excited for the children to get my picture. I picked out a very special picture for the children, and I will share all the information with you guys on my Facebook page. Make sure you're following my page. As I always say, make sure you stay tuned to NJ Digital. I want to thank Sandra so much for coming in today to talk about everything you talked about.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, yeah, it was amazing. I was honored to be in the presence of Dorothy and Sandra, such amazing women, so inspirational, and how more fitting could I get for my show Girls Talk. So thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week.
Islamic Circle of North America, Canada presents Carry the Light Annual Convention 2018 on October 6th and 7th at the International Center, Mississauga. The event is aimed to inspire Muslims to implement the true spirit of Islam in their lives. This year's speakers are going to talk about Canadian Muslims sharing Islam and serving humanity. Don't miss this opportunity to meet with world-renowned speakers at one place. For sponsorship, Grand Bazaar and tickets, please visit carrythelight.ca.
A criminal charge can be an ugly and nasty surprise. Don't let bad decisions or unfortunate circumstances take control of your life. The criminal lawyers at Alam Law Chambers will listen to your story and develop the best defense for you. Nothing in life is more important than your freedom. Reliable and affordable. Alam Law.
मैं हूं जहांगीर खान, स्क्वाश कोर्ट का चैंपियन, लेकिन रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट का चैंपियन मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। मुझे उन पर यकीन है, आप भी करके देखिए।
जहांगीर खान और हजारों क्लाइंट्स का चहेता मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टीज और इन्वेस्टमेंट्स दोनों के लिए ही सही मशवरा, सही फैसला। मकान जिसे आप अपना घर कहने में फख्र महसूस करेंगे। मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन, 4163185264।
We at Albarka Travel are passionate about our clients' entire journey, from dream to experience to memory. We are not only the #1 Umrah agent in Canada, but also guarantee the cheapest airfare to Pakistan, India, Middle East, and Europe. Albarka Travel, combining your ideas with its experience and expertise to deliver you the most enjoyable travel experience and vacation packages possible. Get in touch at 905-232-6566. Albarka Travel. Explore the world with us.
Guerra, an exclusive multi-designer studio, specialized in wedding planning services, bridal wear, casual party wear, jewelry, shoes, purses, dupattas, men's and kids' clothes. You name it, we have it. Some of the Pakistani designer labels we carry are Semi-K, Agha Noor, Sana Safinaz, Anas Abrar, Zainab Shutani, Wahaj Khan, Fatma Khan, and many more. Farrakhan, sheer elegance. We believe in quality service and best price.
You can contact 9075 Derry Road West, Unit Number 1, Milton, Ontario.
चॉकलेट चिप कुकी।
अली,
सिर्फ कुकी दूंगा, चॉकलेट चिप नहीं दूंगा। इसमें तो बहुत सारे चॉकलेट चिप हैं। एक सेकंड देता हूँ। अभी भी बहुत है।
अब अली बेचारा क्या करे, जब नए बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकी में है बहुत ज्यादा चॉकलेट चिप्स, ऊपर भी चॉकलेट, अंदर भी चॉकलेट।
आपकी कुकी
बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकीज बहुत 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 चॉकलेटी।
हर खुशी बिस्कॉनी।